Okay, green, Waffle House is running as normal. Yellow, Waffle House is using the backup generator or having to use an altered menu. Red, Waffle House is closed. People are probably already fucking dead by that point. Altered menu.
Fox News? Really? Really? Hurricane Ian. The Waffle House Index, this is a real thing. Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be checking out Waffle House, the Roman Colosseum of the South by the Fat Files, guys. Yes, some of you guys told me that the Fat Electrician, he's got a secondary channel, and I guess on that channel he posts like non-military related content, so I figured it might be interesting to check out. And this video caught my eye, Waffle House, the Roman Colosseum of the South. A few of you guys told me to check it out as well, so I was like, okay, well, we'll see. I know what Waffle House is. Now, we don't have them here in Canada. Like, I'm pretty sure it's just a restaurant that serves like breakfast foods to my understanding. Now, I have seen a couple memes about Waffle House online. I want to say like on like Facebook or something like that, you know, fucking scrolling through. You know, so I'm not sure how like truthful those are, like staying open like at fucking radical times, and like I don't know, apparently a lot of like shit goes down in Waffle Houses. You know what I mean? I've never been to a Waffle House in my life. Okay, we probably have like one or two here in Canada. I fucking could not tell you where, and it's probably like in Windsor, like somewhere on the border or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? You can't just find a Waffle House. I ain't never seen no Waffle House before. So gonna be new to me. If you guys enjoy, make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe for more content from me. Of course, leave recommendations down in the comments below. Not any further delay, let's get right into this video. We're gonna leave a like on that video, captions on, 1440p, sick. Let's make sure we select that because YouTube likes to mess around with the quality. Without any further delay, let's get it.
Okay, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I actually debated on which channel I was gonna upload this video on, because on one hand, we're going over a business and the business model that it has, but on the other hand, this restaurant is basically the Roman Colosseum of the South, and I'm pretty sure if you eat there enough, you actually get a deployment patch from the US military. Regardless, I wore my schnazziest tank top for the occasion. Today we're talking about Waffle House, okay, just to be complete.
Bro, he's making it sound like the Waffle House here is a goddamn like combat zone, dude. Like, is it? Are they that bad? Like, does actually, like, I know, like, again, I've seen some memes where it's like, you know, some shit goes down, but is shit on? Like, is it active there? You know what I mean? Is that like some hood level shit? You know, like, I don't know what else to say.
Eat there enough, you actually get a deployment patch from the US military. Regardless, I wore my schnazziest tank top for the occasion. Today we're talking about Waffle House, okay, just to be completely clear with everybody, I was pretty sure I was not going to get caught off guard because Waffle House is already absolutely crazy. I started looking into it and then found out that Waffle House is somehow connected to the Manhattan Project from World War II. So
what the fuck?
They managed to actually surprise me, and we're going to get to it right after a word from our sponsor.
They make breakfast for the fucking scientists? What?
Okay, I can go get you one.
Perfect.
All right, I'll go get it now. Love you.
Love you.
All right, bye.
1 hour later.
Where's that boombox that I asked for?
Oh, it's right here. I got it for you.
What?
What is this?
The boombox.
No, I wanted something to play music with.
I mean, it's...
Oh.
You got to use technical terms here, right? Like, you can't expect him to understand that, right? Like, come on now. It's one and the same when you think about it.
The boombox.
No,
can't blame a man.
Something to play music with.
Oh, that kind of boombox. Yeah, I got this instead.
Okay, we'll go to the store and get me a boombox so I can listen to music.
Can I keep this one still?
I don't care.
Do they even sell fucking radios like that still?
This video is brought to you by Delete Me. Okay, super simple business model. You give them money, they turn around and they make sure that online data brokers are not selling your personal information online. Okay, here's the deal. Pretty much anytime you use a free service on the internet and you click that little box that says, I agree to the terms and conditions, you've basically just agreed to allow them to harvest as much of your personal information as humanly possible. They then turn around and sell that to online data brokers, and that's how they can afford to offer you a free service. But when you have Delete Me, they go and they monitor all of these online data brokers for your personal information, and then if they find it, they submit all the opt-out forms on your behalf, so they have to take down and stop selling that information. So when you buy Delete Me, you're not actually buying anything, you're just buying your way out of all the negative consequences of all the free shit that you've already gotten. And because they continue to monitor those data brokers, you're buying yourself out of all the future negative consequences of all the free shit that you haven't even gotten yet. Of course. So if you want to give Delete Me a try, there's going to be a link and a discount code down below. Let's get back to the video. All right, Waffle House, our story begins.
Of course, if you guys, I don't know if his, if his code is still active. 7 months ago, it very well could be 20% off of Delete Me. Go use this code, guys. If you plan on getting that service. Fat Files. Sounds like a pretty good deal. 20% off.
Delete me a try. There's going to be a link and a discount code down below. Let's get back to the video. All right, Waffle House. Our story begins with a gentleman by the name of Tom Faulkner. This man graduated from law school at 23 years old, passed the bar, and immediately gets drafted in 1940 in the days leading up to World War II. Because he graduated from college, he's presented with two different options. He can A, go straight into officer training, and that's a 3-year commitment, or he can just be a normal draftee and go in as an enlisted soldier, and that is a 1-year commitment. Now, you got to remember, at this point in time, like 1940, while World War II is currently going on, America's not involved.
Not involved,
yet. The attack
yeah.
on Pearl Harbor has not happened, and prior to the attack on Pearl Harbor, the American people did not want to go to war. Because of that, Tom Faulkner figures, hey, we're not actually going off to war. I don't want to waste 3 years of my time just being in the military, not actually, you know, fighting a war or whatever.
Of course.
He chooses to be a draftee. Goes into the military as an enlisted soldier, E1 private. From there, goes off to basic training. As soon as he gets through basic training, the attack on Pearl Harbor ends up happening. America enters the war. He immediately opts to go into OCS training and commits for 3 years. After he completes the officer training course, he actually gets slotted to be a counterintelligence officer where he...
So I wonder if it was the case of like, fuck it, I just want to get in, get it done with, you know what I'm saying? Or if it was the case of like, you know, and then Pearl Harbor happened, so it's like, okay, well shit, you know, now I gotta, okay, now it's on, you know, so I can't just like, you know, I can't just fucking sleaze it off, you know, like I can understand like, you know, if your country doesn't think you're gonna go to war, like why would you want to go enlist, you know what I mean? Like the whole point is to defend your nation's pride, right? To defend the integrity of your nation. If there isn't a threat to your nation visibly, and you know, in 1940, you know, the news isn't, you know what I mean? Like you're not getting like TV broadcasts from across the world and shit like that, you know? It's like really like newspapers and shit is how shit's done, right? So I can understand not being like, you know, on top of it. And like, that's the thing too, right? I think flow of information too. A lot of people don't take that in consideration back at that time period, right? Like, yeah, like in hindsight, the attack on Pearl Harbor might have been fucking obvious, but like, bro, like for the average person, like, you know, your world was like fucking 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers. You know what I mean? You didn't really have to go outside of that for the most part, you know, depending on where you lived. That's just how it was, you know?
For 3 years. After he completes the officer training course, he actually gets slotted to be a counterintelligence officer where he does, and I quote, a lot of top secret stuff.
You see, my identity must remain mysterious and my mission secret. I cannot reveal it to you.
You can actually tell in the interviews that he gave later on in his life, like in his 70s, 80s, and 90s, that he's still not sure what he is and what he isn't allowed to talk about. But he did end up telling us that basically it was his job to try to sneak onto military bases, not as military personnel. So he would basically disguise himself as like a painter or a carpenter or whatever, and try to infiltrate a U.S. military base to expose weaknesses within the system to help counteract enemy spies. So he does that for a couple of years, and then one day he ends up getting orders like, hey, you're going to Knoxville, Tennessee. And
what a crazy job.
For what? And they're like, don't fucking worry about it, just show up. So he shows up in Tennessee and he's given his orders, and those orders, I'm paraphrasing here, but they're essentially, hey, here's your partner. You two are gonna hop in that truck and you are gonna drive it from Knoxville, Tennessee to Los Alamos, New Mexico. You guys are gonna dress in plain clothes. You're not gonna look at what's inside the truck. You're not gonna talk about what's inside the truck. You're gonna take this map and take that exact route. This route avoids every major city and every major highway. You are going to drive straight there 53 hours straight, taking turns sleeping in the passenger seat and not stopping for any reason whatsoever. And he does this for the next year and a half, pretty much nonstop. And then like 20, 30 years after the fact, he finds out that he was actually hauling the majority of the enriched uranium for all of the nuclear testing and the building of nuclear weapons. Which
I was gonna say, like, that's crazy. They just didn't tell them you're hauling uranium, you know? Because, like, you know, that's definitely a dangerous cargo. I feel like, you know, by modern standards, you'd have to get a couple certificates or something, you know, like at least be like, oh, you know, is there a chance of a leak? Don't worry about it. No, like, okay, sure. No, that's pretty radical, man. Like, you're just called in. Yeah, you're gonna, don't ask questions, drive it straight from here to there, shut the fuck up, don't talk about it. Okay, simple enough, right? But yeah, what a tremendous effort that would have been, like, to keep quiet. And I'm surprised too, they just did that out in the open. I guess the whole idea, right, is like, if it's just one lone truck, like, who gives a fuck? Like, it's not suspicious, right? Versus if you have like a military convoy escort, then it's like, okay, like, what the fuck is that? That's clearly something important, right? So I guess that was like the philosophy behind it. That makes sense to me, at least.
majority of the enriched uranium for all of the nuclear testing and the building of nuclear weapons. Which, as we all know, brings about the end of World War II, at which point he gets out of the military, moves back home to Atlanta, Georgia, starts helping his dad out with his real estate agency. Now, he does that for about 10 years, and during this time, he ends up selling the house right next door to his to another guy by the name of Joe Rogers, and they pretty much become best friends. Joe Rogers was also an Army veteran. He was actually a pilot that flew B-24s in World War II. When Joe got back home after the war, he did not want to go off to college, so he actually just took the first job that he was offered, being a short order cook at a now defunct restaurant chain known as Toddle House. He worked his way up, becoming a restaurant manager, then eventually becoming a regional manager. And then one day, his neighbor and best friend, Tom Faulkner, real estate agent, always looking for the next investment, comes to him and is like, hey, I'm thinking about opening up my own restaurant. I can get the real estate deal going on that side. I just wanted to know, like, if I opened up and bought a franchise of Toddle House, would you be willing to run it for me? Now, at this point, it's like 1954, 1955. Joe Rogers has a ton of experience inside the restaurant industry, and he basically tells his best friend, like, hey, don't open a Toddle House. You should start your own thing. Toddle House's business model isn't that great. If you start your own restaurant, I will help you run it. He then goes off on vacation with his family, and by the time he comes back, Tom Faulkner.
It's honestly some pretty based advice, though, I have to admit. Like, yeah, like a lot of franchise business models are not great. Like, it's much better to just do your own thing if you can afford the space, right? Nowadays, right, the only, like, that's the problem, right, is the only way you're gonna get the fucking space is if you franchise, because everything is so fucking expensive. You can't just buy fucking real estate anymore, you know what I mean? Like, it just, not the average person, at least, that's for sure. At least here. I don't know, maybe in America you can, but
I will help you run it. He then goes off on vacation with his family, and by the time he comes back, Tom Faulkner has already bought the real estate and comes to Rogers and is like, cool, what's the business we're starting?
Where's Pancake's house?
What?
We stop at Pancake's house.
And within the span of like
Pancake's
6 months,
house.
the very first of what is now the legendary
Good
restaurant
food
chain of
fast.
Waffle House opens. And Waffle House is legendary, probably for all the wrong reasons. I mean, even if you've never been to a Waffle House, you've heard about Waffle House because,
Yeah,
well,
a little bit.
Kid Rock got enough right there. You've got Haley Booth, the viral Waffle House cook known as the last chairbender. There's entire subreddits and YouTube channels almost exclusively dedicated to all the fights that break out at
oh
Waffle
my god.
House.
Yeah, like okay, so like when we started this story off, I was like, maybe I'm thinking of like the wrong fucking, like, did I get that vastly wrong? But no, like some hood shit, dog. I don't know what to tell you.
YouTube channels almost exclusively dedicated to all the fights that break out at Waffle House. I remember the first time I went to a Waffle House. I stretched first, I grabbed a GoPro, I was ready to yell World
I'm sure the
Star.
food's delicious.
Nothing exciting happened. I just had delicious breakfast at like 3 o'clock in the morning, which is probably 99% of people's experiences because despite all
That
of
looks
the negative
good.
PR, Waffle House makes a ton of money and has an incredible business model. Okay, Waffle House had about $1.4 billion in revenue last year, which is about $650,000
insane.
per location. And when you take into consideration that each Waffle House is absolutely tiny, that's really impressive. Out
Yeah,
of
it
their
is.
2,100 tiny Waffle House locations, their yearly stats are 58 million cups of coffee, 124 million waffles, 153 million servings of hash browns, 272 million eggs, which is about 2%.
I want to pause on that. Like, it's actually very interesting to see the logistics of this restaurant, and it's easy to see why it makes sense because their menu is so fucking easy. It's breakfast food, right? Breakfast food is not hard to make, and especially if you serve it all day. I put a lot of thought actually into opening up my own like restaurant and stuff like that. My mother used to be we used to own our own takeout place like that. You know, I used to be very into cooking and whatnot, and you know, I've always thought about opening my own food truck and stuff like that. And it's very easy to do breakfast food and make money off of it. You know what I mean? Because you can mark it up very, very easily. And that's not to say you should, right? And you can still, in today's society, you could make a good breakfast and still undercut like McDonald's or fucking Tim Hortons or any of these big fast food chains, you know. I guess, I don't know about Waffle House. I don't know how cheap it is in America, right? I know the prices here, if you're to go get food, is fucking insane. Especially if you're to go to a sit-down restaurant. Like, you're not paying, you know, anything less than usually $20 to $25 like a serving, depending on what you're getting. Of course, if you're getting like a meal, right? Depends what you're getting.
53 million servings of hash browns, 272 million eggs, which is about 2% of all the eggs consumed in the United States of America, and 85 million strips of bacon.
That's a shitload.
Yes, I did the math. That is about 8,000 miles worth of bacon.
I worry what you just heard was, give me a lot of bacon and eggs. What I said was, give me all the bacon and eggs you have.
So Waffle House is obviously doing something right. What exactly are they doing? Well, it all comes down to their business model and their branding. Now, with the Waffle House branding, all the negative PR about fights always breaking out at Waffle House, in a way, has actually helped them out a ton, because Waffle House, by and large, is pretty much a regional chain. It's primarily down in the South, yet...
Yeah, like looking at that, I just want
large is pretty much
pause on that map. Yeah, you can see, I don't think, yeah, you can see there's no... On the little bit of like Canada that you can see there, and that's like on the border regions. That's where it would be. There isn't one, I don't think so. That's a shame. Damn, I can't go try my own Waffle House, dude. Damn. Why don't we have a? You know what, Waffle House, fucking at me up. I'll fucking franchise a fucking restaurant here in Canada for you. How about that? Okay, fucking hit me up. Someone get me in contact. I'll do it. I swear to God. That's no bullshit. I will fucking franchise a Waffle House, bro. That sounds like a mint time. I'd do that. That sounds active. You know what I mean?
much a regional chain.
There's a shitload of them though.
Down in the South. Yet, Waffle House has become a household name pretty much everywhere in America. You could have never even seen a Waffle House, and you already know Waffle House is open 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, and they serve breakfast. Why do you know they serve breakfast? Because their name is fucking Waffle House.
Literally,
I mean,
yeah.
look at this sign. You're driving down the road, you see that, you know everything you need to know. Yeah. They sell breakfast.
Don't ask questions.
The end. Do that with another breakfast place. If you're not from there and you don't know what a Denny's or a Perkins or an IHOP is, you have no idea. It's just a restaurant, maybe. Waffle House, they're selling waffles, which means there's like a 99% chance they sell other breakfast food.
Literally.
Fucking sold. I'm in. So already, the branding is absolutely incredible, but here's the true genius of it. Why did they call it Waffle House? Why didn't they call it Breakfast House or Bacon House or Hash Brown House? It's because waffles had the highest profit margin. I cannot stress to you enough how absolutely genius that is, right? Because you don't need to sell breakfast, all right? Everybody's already in on breakfast, okay? I could be blackout drunk at 4 in the morning and you could ask me, hey, do you want breakfast? I'm coming up like the Undertaker every single time. And then you go, the only thing open right now is Waffle House, okay? I was already sold on breakfast from the get-go, but because Waffle House is where we're going, guess what I'm getting? A motherfucking waffle, and they're making more money. It makes sense that Tom Faulkner was a counterintelligence.
That is so fucking true. But I also have to ask too, I know, and that's the thing here in Canada, everything is closed in Canada by like usually like fucking like 10, you know what I mean? Like not much stays open past that. Even like bars and shit, they don't stay open late, dude. There's like basically nothing to do past a certain time in this fucking country, it seems like, unless you like literally live in fucking Toronto, and Toronto is a fucking PvP zone, so it's like, why would you go there? I guess that's not true. I guess London too, but London at night is also kind of a PvP zone, so it's like, you know what I mean? Yeah, but like my point is, right, is like I'm assuming these Waffle Houses got to be 24 hours, some of them, right? And if the 24-hour breakfast, like you literally can't go wrong with that. That is money to be made. That is money in the pocket of whoever decided to come up with that. And even nowadays, again, if you can just open your own restaurant, again, I feel like why people don't do it, right, is because the cost of fucking real estate is so fucking high. Like you literally can't buy a house, you can't buy a fucking business. You know what I mean? Like the priority, like, you know, hierarchy of needs, whatever you fucking call it, right? Gotta have one before you have the other. And yeah, it's just people, and like that's the thing too, a lot of small restaurants and shit here closed down during COVID, right? Never recovered because they had to, you know, keep their doors shut for fucking 3 years. And you know, there'd be times where it's like, okay, yeah, we're allowed to open for 2 weeks. No, a viral strain. And now they just bought fucking a month's worth of stock, and now it's going to go bad because now we have to shut down for another fucking 2 months, right? Bullshit. So basically all that's left is chain restaurants, and they're able to mark up the price, right? They're able to make shit more expensive, right? There's very few restaurants that survived COVID here, I will say.
That's what I'm getting, a motherfucking waffle, and they're making more money. It makes sense that Tom Faulkner was a counterintelligence officer because the man literally said 2 words and has already subconsciously tricked you into ordering the most expensive thing on the menu that makes him the most money. So the branding of Waffle House is both simple and brilliant, and the rest of the business model matches that to a T. Okay, all Waffle Houses are like virtually identical. They're very small. They only seat like 30 people, and you can actually see the cook making you your food. Now, at a glance, you're just like, oh, they're just going going for that like 1950s drive-through type of a vibe, which they are, but there's way more to it than that. Because the restaurant is so
It's just
small,
appealing.
the kitchen never has the opportunity to get bogged down, meaning that they're moving tables very, very quickly. So instead of having one kitchen and 100 customers, you've got one kitchen and 30 customers, and you can just turn those tables over 3 times faster, which pretty much guarantees that every customer is going to get exactly what they wanted.
And that's the thing, breakfast food, right? It takes no time at all to make breakfast food. It's the simplest thing. Like, as long as you have the ingredients, and like, let's be honest here, 90% of that is eggs, bacon, hash browns, fucking batter. What else do you need to make a good breakfast? Let's be honest, to make it profitable. You really don't need much. Sausages, I guess. You know, you can start getting fancy, you know, but like, it's base root. It's fucking 5-6 things you need. Cheese, you know what I mean? Bread. Like, there's really, you know, okay, 7 fucking ingredients, you know, and you can make a fucking breakfast for anyone that anyone in the Western world will enjoy and fucking crush. You know what I mean? That's all it is. It's a great business model. I've put a lot of thought into it, man. I think it's a great idea, I have to say.
3 times faster, which pretty much guarantees that every customer is going to get exactly what they wanted. Okay, they're not going in there for 5-star dining. They're going in there because they're hungry and they want breakfast. And
exactly.
Now they're going to get breakfast really quick in a small setting that doesn't feel like a packed restaurant where they have to wait in line to be seated. And I know what you're thinking. What if one Waffle House just reaches its maximum capacity, right? What if it's just completely full with a line out the door 24/7 every day of the year? Waffle House surely would build a bigger Waffle House, right? No, we're going to take the same parking lot, and right next to that first Waffle House, we're going to build a second fucking Waffle House, okay? The plan is working, and if it's not broke, don't fix it. Which is one of those things that seems dumb, but is actually brilliant.
So that's actually like what they do. I mean, you got to give them credit. It makes sense. You know what I mean? Yeah, they have a business model. This is what the stores are able to accommodate. We have literally the floor space, the kitchen, everything planned to a fucking T. It doesn't fail. It always is guaranteed to make profit. If one Waffle House, I would assume probably at like the 50-60% mark of overcapacity, like, you know, 150-160% overcapacity mark, like consistently, that's when it's like, okay, we need a second location. You know what I mean? Like, we're constantly getting bogged down. It's just too busy. People want breakfast and we can't fucking, you know, like the turnaround rate, it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes to eat a breakfast at your table, get the fuck out of the restaurant, you know, or you pick it up and you leave. It's too many people, you know, they want breakfast. Open another Waffle House. Yeah, great idea. And they have the money to do it. So why not, right? Completely. Yeah. Great business model, I have to say. I'm appreciating Waffle House a lot right now. Good shit.
Not broke, don't
Good for
fix
them.
it. Which is one of those things that seems dumb, but is actually brilliant. So obviously speed is key to this business model, and they've done themselves a big favor with their menu because their menu is overwhelmingly simple, okay? It's literally one side of one piece of paper.
Literally.
Okay, the entire menu is
breakfast.
comprised of like 10 things. They have waffles, sausage, bacon, ham, eggs, toast, biscuits, gravy, butter, and syrup. Guess how many?
I just want to see this. So this is actually just like the menu from Waffle House 2017. Okay. Yeah, amazingly simple. Like, none of this is complicated. And I have to say, like, the portion sizes too, like the portion sizes don't look like insane, you know? And that's kind of good. So I'm assuming the food is probably cheap. Like, it's probably not expensive at all to eat here, especially by American standards or by Canadian standards, right? Again, in Canada, man, like, you're paying. If you're going to a sit-down restaurant, you're paying. Like, you know what I mean? It's not cheap. You can't just go in and spend $10 and get good food anymore. It really doesn't work that way. Yeah, wow. I'm sad there's no, like, prices here. I'd really be curious to see the prices. That sausage egg, hash brown bowl? Oh, seems pretty scrumptious looking, actually.
Sausage, bacon, ham, eggs, toast, biscuits, gravy, butter, and syrup. Guess how many flavors of syrup they have? 1. It's fucking syrup-flavored syrup. The entire menu is simple.
That's normal for us in Canada.
Sorry, they have hash browns too.
Like syrup is syrup.
Things, not 10. Anyways, moving on. Another reason they do so good is they actually might be the best fast food chain when it comes to taking care of their employees. They pay them higher than average. They have super flexible schedules, and they're one of, if not the only fast food chain that actually offers all their employees healthcare and dental insurance.
So they offer them healthcare and dental insurance. Seriously? That's actually pretty big. And by American standards, that's pretty base. That's good shit. I can respect this company, right? Like, that's, you know, wow. Holy shit. I have to say, like, good on them. Good on Waffle House for that.
Actually offers all their employees healthcare and dental insurance. Okay, and I know what you're thinking. You're like, okay, but really, how good are they actually treating the Waffle House employees? I got the one stat that's everything you need to know, okay? Waffle House treats their employees so well that employees are willing to commute into a natural disaster to work at a different Waffle House when the occasion arises. Yeah,
Seriously?
Waffle House is open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and they fucking mean it, okay? Whenever there's like a hurricane coming or some type of impending natural disaster,
365, I have to say right now, guys, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day, that doesn't exist in Canada. Pure and simple, it just fucking doesn't exist. You can't find that in Canada. It isn't real, you know? And again, that's the thing I appreciate about America, man, is like you guys actually do shit, you know what I mean? Like you keep shit running, you know? You actually have a fucking like 24-hour fucking like life that you can have in America. In Canada, nah, bro, nah. You know what I mean? If you're a fucking night owl like myself, you're fucked. That's just it. You know what I mean? Like you're just a shut-in. It sucks. You know, I despise it. I try to go out and do shit, right? But you know what I mean? Like it is what it is, right?
It, okay? Whenever there's like a hurricane coming or some type of impending natural disaster, Waffle House organizes what they call a jump team, a bunch of Waffle House employees from a different region that's going to be unaffected because they know that their local employees are going to be busy taking care of their own family and their own houses during a hurricane. So they bring in teams from outside the region to work inside of a natural fucking disaster, and they're willing to do it.
I never said thank you. And you'll never have to.
Okay, McDonald's can barely get their employees to show up on a good day, and Waffle House has employees volunteering to commute into a fucking hurricane to make breakfast. And this is the most impressive part of the business because
I have to assume too, like, I don't know if they're getting paid minimum wage. I mean, he said they actually get paid higher standards, so that's great to hear. But they're also probably getting like compensated heavily for that too. It's like, if you're willing to do this, like we treat our employees well, if you're willing to go in there and do your job, right, we're going to pay you another $10 an hour, whatever have you. That's fucking good money, man. Again, suddenly you're making like, I don't know. I don't even know what the basis of American pay would be. So I don't want to speak on it because I'm going to sound super, super ignorant, right? I know here in Canada, right, like our minimum wage is getting fucking stupid high, at least here in Ontario, which is a sign of obvious inflation for anybody who fucking knows, right? But that's something that Canadian people aren't willing to stomach yet, but anyway.
into a fucking hurricane to make breakfast. And this is the most impressive part of the business because Waffle House has the best logistics and preparedness of any company I've ever seen ever. The only entity that beats them in logistical capacity is the United States military. Waffle House is literally ready for absolutely anything. Every single Waffle House has the playbook inside of it that details exactly how the staff is supposed to handle literally any type of emergency or situation that could possibly arise. And if for some reason the situation comes across that isn't in that playbook, after it happens, they immediately add it to the playbook. It covers tornadoes, hurricanes, floods, a hole in the roof from a branch falling, a car driving into the restaurant. You can drive a car into Waffle House and they're still planning on staying open. The playbook even has detailed plans for every...
What? Like, again, see, this is the kind of fucking productivity I fucking love from our southern neighbors. You know, you don't get this shit here in Canada. You don't have the same drive. You know what I mean? This happens here in Canada. People are like, oh my God, we gotta, you know, in America, you guys are like, give me my fucking waffle. Like, bitch, like that. I don't give a fuck. You know, somebody drove their car. What does this look like? A fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I'm hungry. Like, I respect that. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Personally, hey, whatever. Right? But again, not ready for that conversation, I guess.
Waffle House, and they're still planning on staying open. The playbook even has detailed plans for every type of disaster for what the local employees, while they're not working, should go home and do to make sure that their house and their family are safe as well. Every single Waffle House has a backup generator. The stovetop, it runs on propane, and they have a bunch of extra propane tanks on hand. Flashlights, candles, batteries, backup water. They have a special menu of what they're able to serve when the water is out and they're running on reserve water. When a Waffle House location is going to be in a disaster area, that Waffle House stocks up on extra food, and then all of the neighboring locations in the unaffected area also stock up and stage food there to get them more food when they need it.
So
if
it's
Waffle
proper,
House is a standing structure, those motherfuckers are serving breakfast come hell or high water.
And knowing like their profit margin, like how much money they made, like, well, I guess this is 7 months ago, so last year, so it was like what, $1.5 billion, right? 1.6 or something like that. Like, they have the money to fucking back this up, you know what I mean? They can do realistically whatever the fuck they want as Waffle House. They don't care, right? Nothing is going to slow down this company, right? Like, $1.5 billion is insane. That's insane. In revenue is insane.
Standing structure.
They can prepare for anything. It's not a problem.
Hell or high water.
I'm not leaving.
Their GDP is higher than most countries. A lot of countries. I don't know about that. It's a joke.
Waffle House is so
Depends
good
where you
at
go.
this that FEMA uses them to gauge how bad natural disasters really are. Yes, FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, literally uses the Waffle House Index to gauge how bad a disaster is. Okay, green, Waffle House is running as normal. Yellow, Waffle House is using the backup generator or having to use an altered menu. Red, Waffle House is closed. People are probably already fucking dead by that point. Altered menu.
Fox News? Really? Hurricane Ian. The Waffle House Index. This is a real thing. Is this actually how they like gauge how well disasters are doing? Okay, so in one regard, sure, but like in another regard, goddamn, you know, you guys, the metric you guys Americans use to like gauge shit is very, very strange sometimes. I'll be honest. It's a very strange metric you guys run by. Like, there's not giving a fuck, and then there's not giving a fuck to, like, a point where it's like, holy shit, the Waffle House is closed, it's Armageddon. Fucking second coming of Christ is on its way, guys. Like, oh my god, if it's a red, it's over. You might as well get on your knees and start praying, go to the bar, whatever have you. Whatever your proclivity is, get to it, because it's coming. Armageddon itself. Damn, dude. That's funny as fuck. I like that.
Red, Waffle House is closed. People are probably already fucking dead by that point. Waffle House is literally the Terminator of the fast food industry, okay? The fact that the federal government, probably the most powerful entity on the planet, maybe ever, looks at a chain of restaurants and is like, man, if Waffle House is closed, we need to mobilize the National Guard is fucking crazy. Now, maybe you guys are thinking the same thing I was at this point in my research, and I'm like, man, I need to invest in this company. I need to see if I can open up my own Waffle House franchise. This company's awesome. And this is where the bad news comes in.
Oh, no.
I mean, technically you can franchise a Waffle House, but most of us probably can't. The company is privately owned. It's not on the stock market.
Yeah.
It's still owned by the families of the original two founders.
Oh, of course. Of course. And what, again, that's capitalism at its finest. These people did amazing for themselves. What? Two guys own this $1.5 billion company? Fucking, you know, props to them, man. Props to them. People will look at them and say, oh my God, like, you know, people will be greedy about that. That's the American dream right there, baby. You didn't sell out. You opened your own restaurant. You took that shit from nothing to something. 50, 60 years later, 70 years later, look at what this shit has become. And it's still the same two owners. They never had to open up to outside investment. That's fucking, that's what it should be. You know what I mean? That's what it should be. That right there. I like straight up.
Owned. It's not on the stock market.
Good for them. I'm proud of them that they don't franchise, to be honest. That's
and while
good.
they do allow franchises, they are super picky about who they let buy in to have a franchise.
Oh, yeah.
And they make it very, very expensive to buy in to make sure this is actually what you want.
Yes.
And while that is unfortunate,
and I don't think that's unfortunate at all. I think that's absolutely smart. Again, from a family business perspective, $1.6 billion. It's still a family business. Get fucked. Still a family business. Original guy and his children, you know what I mean? Still own that. That's like, that is insane. No, like, fully own that, you know? Like, man, props to them, straight up. I'm like, that's actually so cool. That's the dream right there, man.
Very expensive to buy.
That's what people should be striving for.
Actually, what you want. And while that is unfortunate, I think it's actually kind of awesome. It's a company that actually has morals and cares about their image more than they care about next quarter's profits. Okay,
exactly.
It's a company that has committed themselves to making breakfast under any circumstances.
It's a family business. It's not a tycoon.
At the very end, even though they could probably make way more money by just selling franchises and letting whoever the fuck throw up a Waffle House. And now for the fairy tale ending, Joe and Tom worked together as best friends for 62 years.
Good for them. them,
to
man.
build Waffle House into what it is today.
That's
they both
awesome.
passed away at the ages of 97 and 98, and now
unfortunate.
Waffle House and their legacy lives on as that company is still being
Not unfortunate. 97, 98. Great age. You know what I'm saying? They lived long lives, but unfortunate they passed away now. You know what I mean? That's what I meant by that. Jesus, you know?
in 98, and now Waffle House and their legacy lives on as that company is still being operated by their kids, and
That's awesome.
is the American dream.
That is,
Get
yeah,
together with
literally.
one of your best friends, pick a goal,
Literally.
even if it's something as simple as serving breakfast to people, and never let anything get in between you and
that's
achieving
why
your
people
goal.
want to move
Even
to America, man.
hurricanes
Exactly.
and floods and natural disasters, apparently. Work with your best buddy for 62 years straight, and then die together and hand it off to your kids. In conclusion, Waffle House is the most American company ever, and that's why I love it. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang out.
That was awesome. Holy shit.
Just two homies that dedicated their life to serving my drunk ass breakfast at 3 a.m. I'm gonna get teary-eyed next time I go to a Waffle House.
Assuming that's probably it there, guys. Wow. That was an awesome video, I have to say. And what, again, what an American company, as he says there, you know? And that really is the American dream. I feel like, you know, growing up, you know, in Canada, I you know, I was under the impression in Canada when I was growing up, right, that I would have the same opportunity granted to me here in Canada that those in the United States would, and that those prior to me generationally here in Canada have been able to have, right? You know, I see my brother, right? He, you know, 10 years older than me, right? He's got his own house, right? He's got a wife, he's got kids. He's from a different generation entirely, man. 10 years in Canada, that's the difference between you were able to own a home versus you will literally never in your lifetime be able to afford one. In 10 years, that's literally the difference, right? I started working from the age of 12, right? Onwards, right? And you know, I have savings, thankfully, but you know, not much. And at this point, right, I can't currently find employment in my country, right? I've applied to about 30, 40 jobs in the last 3 to 4 months, 30, 40 months, Jesus, no. 3 to 4 months, and you know, it is what it is. You can't find part-time work here because that's really all I would need, especially now that I have YouTube kind of going for me, right? To be completely honest, right? And I appreciate you guys so much for that, because simply put, I'd be fucked. I'd have no source of income without YouTube right now. Without you guys, I'd be, you know, I'd be dry. Like, simply, I actually don't know what I'd be doing, right? Like, that's the thing. I'd be, you know, stressing way more. And, you know, if you guys enjoy the content, please hit that like button, subscribe for more, and of course, leave your recommendations down in the comments below. Without any further delay, guys, I say we end this video here. This has been Centurion. Sorry to get a little bit on the more information side there at the end, but yeah, this has been Centurion. See you guys in the next one, guys. Peace.